What's happening, everybody? I'm Steve, and welcome back to Junk Drummer TV. And like any good YouTuber, you're always looking for new and unique and hopefully creative video ideas. So I just got hired by one of my good friends' bands to sub for them for I think 4 or 5 gigs, and I had to learn. I think I've learned 17 originals so far, and I thought that I would make a video about it. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how to make a shorthand chart, and then I'm also going to listen to this song for the first time, the title of the video says, and then go over there and play it for the first time for you. Hopefully not making a complete ass out of myself. Now, getting called for sub gigs is something that will happen if you are an established drummer in your musical community, and you have shown people that you have the responsibility and the abilities to learn their music. Being called for a sub gig on a cover band gig is pretty easy, because a lot of cover bands play a lot of the same material. And most of the time, it's stuff that you're at least familiar with. When you get called to sub for a band that plays 95% original music live, it's a completely different beast. Much more work is involved. Now, I have already learned 16 or 17 of this band's songs, and I kept one back so I could make this video. Making charts, I call them fast charts. Now, of course, I could transcribe the song out and notate it, but they ain't paying me enough for that. They're going to pay me a lot, but not for that. It's not feasible if you have a life, because to transpose every note to a song is kind of silly. It's something you do in college. I had to do it in college, but I'm not going to do that now. What I make is quick charts, shorthand charts. And the more you make these kind of charts, you will eventually kind of invent your own language that you only understand. So when I get done with this chart, there'll probably be some things on here that maybe I only understand, but I hope it will help you if you get called to do a sub gig, to make your own quick charts, right? So now, and also, we've all watched the Larnell Lewis video where he listens to a song once. It's probably going to be way more more complicated than one we do now, and plays it perfectly. Well, this is what happens in the real world when you're a mere mortal. So let's put together our quick chart for this tune, shall we? Okay. Right off the bat there, it's got a Latin feel, right? Pseudo-Latin thing going on, and a bass drum pattern that's very reminiscent of something that you would hear, say, if you were on a cruise in the Caribbean or something, right? So I'm going to, for future Steve, I'm going to write Latiny. And that's going to let me know that I'm playing in that sandbox. Now, off the bat there, on the hi-hats, this drummer's a buddy of mine. He's playing 16th notes, got some double stroke stuff in there. Here's the thing about learning a big portion of music like this in a pretty short amount of time. I've had a few weeks to learn about 17 original songs, so I think this will be 18. And their music is pretty complicated from a compositional standpoint. Nothing is very verse, chorus. Nothing follows the Tom Petty form in any of their music. So it makes it that much harder. They kind of have their own format that they stick to, which makes learning their songs pretty difficult. And by the time this video comes out, I will have at least done one practice with them. I know that I think we're going to get one practice, maybe two, before I have to play a 2-hour show one night and then a 90-minute show the next night. So I have to do a lot of the work now on my own, so I can go in and what is not a lot of practice to learn that many songs, right? So I'm going to write. So he's playing two-handed 16th notes, so I'm going to write 16s. Now, I've made enough of these charts in my day to know that future Steve will know that that means hi-hat, playing 16th notes on the hi-hat. And then I'm actually going to write out that bass drum pattern. One and one and in the intro in the intro he actually stops on beat 3. So I'm going to write in stop 3. I know that means to stop on the 3. Going into, and since the vocals come in, I'm going to assume that's the verse. So got a verse. And I'm going to put a little arrow up to that, and that's going to tell me to keep playing that pattern. You call her name while sleeping in the dead of night. Every night she's okay. I may go back and get more exact with this chart, but I would say either, I think it was 8 measures in, then he adds the snare on the 4. So somewhere right here, I'll put an arrow right there. I put add 4 snare. And that's telling me to add the snare drum on the 4. Okay, and then stop on the 1. This may the chorus might be coming up after that. No, it isn't. Okay, so basically doing the intro again and stopping on that 3. So I'm going to put intro stop 3 verse. So that's telling me to, do that intro again, do that stop on the 3, and then we've got the verse again. Okay, so that verse goes just like the verse before it, adds the 4 halfway through again. And now, when I just say verse, I'll know that I mean all of this verse business and then add the 4 on the snare halfway through. And I'm going to predict the future. He may, they, because there's a bunch of them, probably will stop on the 1 again. Okay, no, they don't. They actually do a little bit of a build up, right? Some sort of a build thing, right? So again, when you're learning this many songs in a short amount of time, you kind of end up paraphrasing. And the band, if they're understanding, will understand that you're not going to come in there and be able to play that stuff perfectly, note for note, like the record, with a few weeks of practicing on your own, and then practice with the band once. Like I said, right now I think we're only going to get one practice in before I do a 2-hour show. How to get myself into this shit. But I'm going to write build after that second verse. I'm actually going to put second right here. Second verse, build, stop on the 3. I'm assuming we're going to get to the chorus. Okay. I tell my students all the time that when you're first starting out as a drummer, you should learn as many songs as possible, because grooves that you've learned in the past, drum fills you've learned in the past, arrangements you've learned in the past will show up again. Now, this chorus, if this is the only thing that the chorus does, this is going to be very easy for me to remember. And this again gets into, you know, these quick charts like this. The band that I'm in with Sasha, if you're a fan of the channel, there's some videos of me playing with her up. We have a chorus that goes exactly like this in the verse, or in the chorus. This rhythm is exactly the song we call Hey Frankie. 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... It's also, it's also Clocks by Coldplay. I'm no singer. So that's a rhythm, that's kind of a common rhythm that lots of bands have used. So now I will write, and this is the ultimate in shorthand, because I'm not going to write that rhythm out. I'm not going to write out 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I'm just going to write chorus Hey Frankie. So this chart really could only be used by me because you would have to know the song Hey Frankie to know that I'm playing that chorus right there. Now hopefully that's the only thing the chorus is doing. I think the song's called Maria. Okay, we got us a new rhythm here. This is probably going to be a little bit of a, I was actually expecting a stop at the end of that chorus. So we've got like a little interlude, like a post-chorus or a pre-verse. And it's a completely different rhythm. I assume that they would go back to that doom, 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 but they don't. And this is what I've been dealing with all of these damn songs I've been learning. Okay, so Hey Frankie, we got the Hey Frankie chorus. That's going to go into, I'm going to put like a pre-verse. It's going to be a pre-verse. Hope I don't run out of chalkboard room here. Whiteboard. Now, because this is a completely different rhythm, I need to actually kind of write that down so I can figure out what he's doing. Okay, and there's going to be a stop. There's going to be a stop right there. I may have to bring it back a little bit. So I'm going to actually write out that groove for me now, because I'm going to assume that I'm still doing 16ths, which I kind of am. So that groove is 1, 2, and 4, 1, 2, and 4. So I now know to play in that pre-verse 1, 2, and 4. Okay, I got to go back to see what note he stops on. Thank you. Stop on 1. Okay, going to go back to the verse. Oh, God. It's okay. So, I would assume, and I know you hear me bitching, it's just because it's making it more difficult on me, but this is actually, in the grand scheme of things, like excellent theme and variation that we're going on. That verse, that second or third verse, because that first verse is kind of a double verse. The second verse has, or third verse, I guess if you want to call it, has a different groove, and it's based around this one part that he has in that pre-verse. So let's see what the new fucking thing is now. That drum part's super dope. It's really cool. There's some splashes. That's a custom drum groove for that verse, or bespoke if you're English. and I will play a paraphrased version of that for now. Hopefully later I'll have the time while learning the 17 or 18 originals and a couple covers. Hopefully I have the time to spend on getting just that one verse down since it's different than the first one. So I'm going to put verse 3. And I'm going to draw an arrow to this rhythm. Now, he's not playing exactly that. But it's something like that, right? It's going to be something in the vicinity of that. Now, when I go to perform this, I guarantee you this verse 3 is the thing I'm going to fuck up. Watch. Okay, now the format's the same because halfway through, add 4 on the snare drum. So with that new rhythm, 1, 2, and 4, 1, 2, halfway through, add 4 snare, just like he does on the first verses. And we're going to probably look for a stop on the 1, or probably a build up and a stop on the 3, actually. Okay, good. Build, stop on the 3, just like the first verse. Okay, so we got a chorus. I'm definitely going to run out of whiteboard. Sounds like we have an instrumental section here. So I'm going to assume, when you play a lot of, when you've learned a lot of songs in your life, you can make some assumptions. It's going to be an instrumental / guitar, like guitar solo. This band has a violinist too. So it might be a violin solo. So I'm going to put chorus, and I'm going to actually write this out again into solo. And we're back to that original 1 and. So I'm going to actually write that real quick right here. 1 and, right? We're back to that. Okay, so sometimes you want to keep track of where you are dynamically, and this is kind of bringing it down. So for future Steve, I'm going to write, you might not be able to see this, but I'm going to put a P. I'm going to put a P right there in that solo. And that's going to tell me piano, and we're not going to be playing like concert piano, but we're going to be playing pretty low volume right here. And I'm going to assume that we're going to build. Okay, so there's like a big change right there in that solo. And it seems like something else needs to happen. So I'm going to put right here, listen for change. Listen for change. Almost sounds like a political motto or a political slogan. But I'm going to be listening for the change through this solo. Because the voice comes in. course, they stop on a beat that they haven't stopped out. Of course, they stop on a beat they haven't stopped at anywhere else in the fucking song. There's a build that's happening there, so I'm going to be listening for the change. And then I'm going to say build. And I got to figure out what note they fall on. When I go to play this will probably be another thing that I mess up. It's like the and of 4. Let's listen to that again. Okay, so yeah, build, stop on and a 4. Hopefully you can see that. I wrote build, stop on the and of 4, and we're obviously going back to the chorus. Oh, and they fucking hold longer too, so let's go see how long they hold here. Okay, so that's a longer wait, a longer rest. So I need to remember that's a 2-measure rest. So right here. So that tells me I stop on the and of 4 and I've got a 2-measure rest. Chorus. Now this may be a double chorus because it's the end chorus. I'm assuming it's the end. Sounds like a double chorus. Is that the intro? Can we get to the end, guys? Okay, so on this record that this was from, they have a lot of these instrumental interlude outs, so I don't think there's any drums. Let's check. Yeah. This band has a classical composer in the band, so he does a lot of these kind of things at the end. I'm not playing, so I don't worry about learning it. Let's figure out what's happening. Let's figure out what's happening at the end there. Didn't go back farther enough. I don't like SoundCloud. This interface is clunky. Okay, so I got to write that out so I know what's going on later, right? So that's and I just ran out of space, but that part is 1 and a 4. Da 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 dig it up. So that may look to you like Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It looks like the meme, and it kind of is. But this looks just like every other quick chart that I've made. I've made hundreds of these in my life. This format may not work for you, but the more you do it, the more you'll get your own language. Now, I can read and write music, but again, this is too much to try to transcribe out the part. It's insanity. And again, they ain't paying me that much. But like right here, where the chorus, where only I know what chorus "Hey Frankie" means, unless you played in Sasha's band too, and since I'm the only drummer she's ever had, you don't know. This is a great way to learn a large amount of material in a short amount of time. So now let's break all this shit down. I'm going to go over there and I'll be able to see this from my drums, and I'm going to try to play this for you for the first time. Larnell Lewis, eat your heart out. Okay. Well, here goes nothing, warts and all. Drummer hears song for the first time and does not play it perfectly. Well, there you go. There was definitely some mistakes in there, some time issues. Once I got in there, I probably needed to turn the volume up, but I wanted to do the first run through That's the first time I played that song. And I will play that song many more times before I go to this band's practice and play it even more than that, along with the 17 or 18 other songs I've had to learn before the gig. There you go. If y'all dug what I did just now, please give me a like, a comment, and a share. Go check out my merch table. Go check out my Patreon. I hope this video was informative. Making quick charts just makes your life easier, and that's what we're trying to do around here. Keep practicing until it's easy.